Welcome back to Disrupting the Algorithm, a monthly check in with our Disruptors Network where we talk to alumni, past mentors, instructors, actors, directors, and anyone who has been part of the Disruptors family. My name is Julio Salgado, and I am the co creator of the Disruptors Fellowship, a program from the Center for Cultural Power. Today's Disrupting the Algorithm guest is the one and only TV writer and Disruptors instructor, Shantira Jackson.
I'm here.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you. And before we get into it, Shantira, I want to give you your flowers and I will read your whole bio because you deserve a bio to be read,
Okay.
with the work that you've done. So here I go.
Okay.
Shantira is an Emmy-nominated writer performer based in Los Angeles. She has written for Netflix Big Mouth and its spinoff Human Resources. She also wrote for Peacock's The Amber Ruffin Show and the Saved by the Bell reboot. She has also contributed to the Writers Guild Awards, the Webby Awards, and the ESPYS. You can catch her as a co-host in episodes of the podcast Vista Phillips is Doing Her Best and as a panelist on NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me. On camera, you can see her in Comedy Central's comedy Out of Office, HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm, and the Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo comedy Barb and Star Go to Bistell Mark. Crazy. And the Comedy Central produced short 3P presents The Blackening. Please welcome Shantira Jackson.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Listen, Shantira, you every year, when we reach out to you, and you always give to our program. So I just want people to just hear directly from you, and I'm also interested, like, what made you who you are now. So we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get started, I usually, with your career and all the amazing things that you've done, I like to kick off every conversation with what people are watching right now. With everything that is happening in the world, we don't have to get into that. What is a piece of art? And it can be a book, it can be an artist, a TV show that you are consuming right now that is making you excited about creating.
Okay, so all right, I don't watch a lot of television that is like straight up comedy. Like I really love Abbott. I think that's really fun. I think it's really smart and kind. It kind of gives that Mike Schur feel. I really love those characters because they evolve. And it's a really great show because not only are the characters evolving in kindness, it's really hard funny, and also the cast is diverse. And we're in a place right now where it doesn't feel like diversity is something that is appreciated or can be greenlit. And I think that right now that's kind of the keystone that a lot of people are like really looking for. I also watched this show called Alone. I really like Alone. I don't know if you ever watched it. It's like on the History Channel, I think.
Okay, no,
Sometimes
no.
it's like it's on Discovery Channel. It's like Naked and Alone, but they're not naked.
Okay.
So they like drop these people in the middle of, a lot of times it's Canada, but this is a new season just started. They're in South Africa, I think. But I really like that show. I don't know if it necessarily makes me want to write more, but it does make me want, like, it gives me confidence that of what I'm capable of. All the women are really, really good at what they do. They're like survivalists. So they're like dropped in the middle of nowhere and they like have to hunt for their own food and gather and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I'll say about the show is that the people who are the most successful are really kind to the land. So like there was like an episode a couple years ago where this guy, he like got to Canada in the middle of like some freezing lake, and he got there and he looked at the land. He goes, "I'm gonna name this land after my grandchildren." And like at the bottom of the screen, it literally tells you this is sacred native land. It like names what type of place it is. It's named, it's sacred, it's native, right?
Yeah.
And he gets there, he's like, "I'm gonna name this after my grandson Joey. This is Joey's plane." And I was like, fuck that guy. And why did he take one step, trip, and break his leg?
Ah, Mother said, not in my
Mother
house.
said no. But then there's these women, it's a lot of times women and men too, but they'll be like, I caught a fish, and they'll be like, thank you, fish, for your life. I really am so grateful for what you've done for me. Thank you to this land. I'm in harmony with you. So I really think that show really helps me to like try to be in harmony with the universe, like really understand where I am, how grateful I am to be here, and really give thanks. So I think that those two things, like Abbott really is like a show where I'm like, I could sell the show. It's really
Yeah.
great. But I really like Alone because Mother Nature really responds accordingly to the attitudes of the people who arrive. And I
100%.
really, really like enjoy it. It's also like, I don't know, it's just like a guilty pleasure.
Yes.
But that show really, it's like, in a world where we don't really see people suffer consequences, people suffer the consequences of their actions out in the wild. And it's very appealing to me.
Listen, and karma, it's a thing. I also do love watching Abbott Elementary, and then I just binge the English teacher
Hmm.
comedy. But what I love watching it with my husband because
Yeah.
my husband is a teacher. Well, he's just moved up to an assistant principal, and so I
Oh,
love watching this shows. And I ask him, I'm like, does that really happen? Can teachers like ask to be? And then he's constantly like, it's like watching, that when people on YouTube watch like, ER shows and like Grey's Anatomy. And
yeah.
so like I have my own at home with my husband. I'm like, does that
Yeah.
really happen?
Is
How's
that
that
real? Is that
realistic? Is it?
yes, I love that. That's so funny. I mean, I just love how everybody's grown in that show. I
Yeah.
love Ava. Janelle is
Yes.
so funny. She's just like top tier. It's just great. It's like I really love hard comedy
Yeah.
and there it's funny. It's just funny.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for indulging me in that question. Now let's like a big part of the Disruptors Fellowship is about mentorship, right? We bring mentors, and I always like to ask our guests about their own mentorship experience.
Mhm.
Can you speak about how mentorship has been instrumental in your own career?
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a lot of mentors actually. Some of them, like a lot of them improvisers, like older improvisers from Chicago who really took me under their wing and saw something in me and like gave me notebooks for when they taught. Like I wanted to be a teacher. It's like Amber Ruffin for sure is a very visible mentor for me. Like she includes me obviously in the Amber Ruffin show, but she has when I moved to New York, she literally was like, "Hey baby, come out with me and I'll feed you." Like, and she like took me to a restaurant and bought me margaritas and tacos, and I was like so poor. So mentorship has really played a part in my career, but also in my the capabilities that I have. I mean, like one of my mentors, Michael, he's passed away, but I say this, I think I say this every time I am in a disruptors panel or anything, but he told me something that really changed my life. He said, everybody wants to be a writer, nobody wants to write. And with that statement, he changed everything for me
Mhm.
because I wrote myself out of poverty.
Yeah.
I have the ability to get up and write. And there's so many people who are like, I want to write for SNL, but they can't write a monologue joke, or they don't take a class, or they don't have a sample. They'll be like, I want a manager. I've had the experience where somebody has come up to me and been like, I want to um, be introduced to your manager. And I was like, great. Can I have a sample? I never heard from him again. So I think that like that specifically from Michael was one of the greatest things that I've been told that I think resonates with anybody. And you can substitute it for anything,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't anybody if you want to be a basketball player but you don't play ball. You know what I mean? Like if you don't do it, you're not going to be successful.
I always have an immediate reaction to that, right? Like when people want to do something, but they don't actually prepare for
Yeah.
it. And there's a myriad of, excuses where people is like, no, I don't have time. I'm so, I have some whatever your excuse is, I cannot identify with that because like I can't help but create. And so I can't, when I hear people want to do something and they don't do it, I'm like, you're probably not in the right industry or whatever, or you're not passionate enough. And I don't know, how do you give that? Sometimes I feel like I don't want to discourage you from doing what you're doing, but you got to do the thing.
You have to do the thing. And I think that I am pretty good about telling people that there is space for them if they're willing to create. I
Hmm.
think there's always space for us. But
Hmm.
if you create nothing, there is no space, And I think that a lot of times I also understand this, like you're afraid of failure,
Hmm.
especially people of color. Like you got to do it twice as good, you know what I mean? But you can't be twice as good if you're doing zero good. If you're not doing anything, and you can't get better if you're not doing it. So I think even if you're just like, I'm worried about people seeing it, like eventually somebody's gonna have to see it, especially if you want to make money doing it. Like
Yeah.
you can write the most beautiful novel in the world, but if it's on your shelf, like happy for you if that's all you want to do. But if you want to have a career, eventually you're gonna have to show somebody something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just gonna say that one of my favorite stories in the world is have you heard the story of Nia Vardalos for My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
I remind me, please. I think I
She
have.
she um she was My Big Fat Greek Wedding was a one woman show, and she was in LA and she thought it should be a movie, so she wrote the script and had the script on her at all times. And then she was doing the show, and then Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson came to a show and said, I think this could be a movie. Let me know when you have something for it. And she said, hold on 1 second, went to the back and had the script and handed it to Rita Wilson. And it is the highest grossing romantic comedy of all time
Yep.
because she didn't wait. She was ready. She already believed in herself. So when the time comes, when somebody is offering you something, you have to have it already.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, and then like mad props to you. Like, if you can write a script in a week, mad props. Cause like I've done that before. I've been like, I gotta fix this. I gotta do this. And I'll be like, I'll give it to you on Saturday. You know what I mean? But like, if you are already, you have all this time of doing nothing, write the script, write the play, write the movie. And that way, when somebody finally does give you the opportunity for what you want, you could be like, great, I already have the script. I'm
Yeah.
ready. You just gotta be ready. You gotta stay ready. Don't get
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. Do you think that is the failure of not succeeding that makes it difficult for people to write when they don't want to write? Like, do you think that's the biggest thing,
I
failure?
mean, I
Fear of
think that
failure?
there's failure, but then there's also like you don't feel like it. I personally don't write every day. I don't want to. I don't want to, but I can definitely lock in and do it when I want to. And like my one of my mentors, Michael, got up every morning with a cup of coffee and sat down at 7 a.m. and wrote every day. That's his business. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. And he had a very successful career. He wrote for SNL. He wrote on a show called Mike and Molly for a bunch of seasons. And you know them OG network sitcoms. He was doing great. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But I personally, like, I'm not the person. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm like a lock-in person. I'm like, I want to write this script. I'm gonna give myself 5 days. I'm gonna do pages a day, and then I'm done. So like, and then I journal, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that like a lot of times people think that the way that something is done is the way they have to do it. You just have to do it a way that makes sure that you're doing it. Like, so if that means you go to the parking ride, I go to the library. Me and my partner go to the library all the time. It's the only free third space.
Yeah.
So I do think that failure is a part of it because it's like everybody wants to be good at something already. But I also think that like people just don't feel like doing it. And eventually you just have to.
100%, 100%. Yeah, find that thing that works for you. And don't compare yourself to other people's journey.
Yeah.
Like I need to. No, 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 no. You gotta find yourself, and it takes some time. It takes some time. I'm always, Shantira, interested in people's creative journey,
Hmm.
especially the younger years, where maybe a career in the arts wasn't even in the plans, or maybe for you it was. Maybe you always knew you were going to be creative. Can you tell us a moment in your childhood or teenage years where you said, storytelling is my thing, I want to do that?
You know what? I was in band when I was in high school. And every Friday night we had to go to a football game and my dad would pick me up when we would come home and I would watch Premium Blend. I don't know, this is old. This is old school Comedy Central when they like used to show clips of people's stand up. So Premium Blend was a blend of like everybody's best type fives or
Hmm.
like people's best jokes. And I remember watching it and I like started trying to guess the jokes. I was like kind of the class clown and I was like, I wonder if I could ever do stand up. I wonder if I could guess the punchlines for some of this stuff. And like by the time I got to my senior year, I was pretty good. Like I would either guess a joke for sure verbatim, like the way my brain worked would like for sure I would get that punchline, or I would come up with a punchline that was similar, or it might be something different. But if I got this, once I got the setup for it, I'd be like, oh, the joke's gonna be like this. And once I did that, I was like, I'm pretty good at this. I wonder if there's like a place for this. Like, can you just do this? So when I went to college, I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. I went to Florida State. I went to school for broadcast journalism because I didn't really know that TV could be a job. I was like, oh, how can I be a storyteller and a writer? I was like killing it in my AP Lit class, AP, you know what I mean? Like I always read a lot of books. I was a really good writer. And I was like, how can I be a writer and be on TV? Local news. That's and then I get to be like a truth teller. And I worked at a news station for like 2 years. And then I realized I was like, yikes, this is not it. This isn't it. This isn't it for me. So then I literally Googled, like, because when I was coming up, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were on Weekend Update together. You're on the desk together. And I literally remember Googling, how did Tina Fey and Amy Poehler get Weekend Update job? Like, how did they get that job? And it was like Second City. They went to Second City first. And I was like, okay. Like I had an aunt who lived in the suburbs of Beverly and I had been to Chicago a bunch. And I was like, okay, so like the way you get that job, you start at Second City. And that's what I did. I just took all my graduation money and I was like, okay, I like literally can't be a news anchor. Like it's not for me, but I'm gonna go see if this Chicago thing works out. And then I just moved to Chicago.
Listen, the moment that you realize, this is not for me. That I actually went to school for journalism, and I remember seeing, this is a quick site, that you reminded me of. I saw an accident, and we had to go report it because I was in the student newspaper, and there was literally like somebody passed away, and I was like, oh, I cannot do this. I need to do something else, and then I started doing political art, which is, but like I'm like sometimes just seeing this kind of thing was not for me, and you kind of come across things in your life, that make you feel like, oh, maybe another path for me. But for you, stand up, the idea of like doing stand up to me, like, it's just, the environment, you're talking to drunk people sometimes, but how did doing stand up and even Second City kind of prepare you for a staff, for a writer's room?
Well, truthfully, I didn't even do that much stand up when I was in Chicago. Like
Oh.
I did it more when I was out here, because especially improv wise, like it's just stand up matters more out here than it did. I mean, it matters in Chicago, but in Chicago, like you could get a job being an improviser,
Mm.
like a job that paid you well, So, Second City really helped me because they teach you how to pitch. We
Wow.
have classes. They teach you how to be in a writer's room because the conservatory program, you basically the way Second City Conservatory in Chicago works is you audition, you get into this program, and you're this class of people. You go through this entire program for a year, and at the end, Second City style, you write a show and you put it up. And when you write the show, they teach you how to pitch. They teach you how to have your ideas in order so we're not wasting people's time. So when I got to a writer's room, it was already easy
Boom.
because I have no ego. Like Second City, you put up a sketch and you get the audience to respond, and that determines whether or not it gets to stay in the show. So like I know like SNL they put it up and and Lauren and the head writers they make the decision. But once it's out there. For us, we put it up and if the audience doesn't like it, it gets cut. And you got to bring something new the next day. So there's nothing precious. So not being precious about your words, I always got a new joke. I always got something new to write. If you tell me that you don't want that, I have something new. So it really taught me not to be precious or to take anything personally. And then when I got to a room, that was easy because it was like, it's just like usually your showrunner who's like pretty nice to you. I mean, in my experience, not everybody's, it's pretty nice to you, as opposed to like, I don't know, some like mean conservative dad from the suburbs who walks out in the middle of your set. Like, it's like, I'd rather pitch to Tracy at Saved by the Bell than like some old man who might be mad at me.
Listen, that is, although I feel, and we talked about this with our past guests, that when you're doing live comedy or like doing something live, it's, and the audience is like the immediate edit, right? Like you can kind of better, do a little better because you're getting the immediate reaction.
Yeah. And the thing about it that's really interesting too is that I did a lot of corporate work. I traveled all over and we have to do like these shows for like LinkedIn and all kinds of shit. But like you'll do a show on a Saturday, kills. Perfect. It's like every time, it's like there's nothing better than knowing that what you're about to say is going to kill. But sometimes people would come and you would do the joke, crickets. And you'd be
Ooh.
like, whoa, 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 whoa. We tested this. This is verified funny. But it's like this week, a group of actuaries came and they don't fucking like it.
It's about knowing your audience, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also like, damn, I thought this was a solid joke, and the
Yeah.
kids didn't like it. So I think that's just like being okay with like, even if you know it's good, like if somebody doesn't like it, I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't a meritocracy. Being good doesn't mean success.
Yeah, that 100%, and that's the thing about comedy. You never know. Writing comedy is hard. What is the one thing that nobody prepare you when you join your first writer's room?
um, Honestly, money.
Oh, tell me more.
I'm a poor person. I'm not anymore, but I was a poor person. I don't have money, and a writer's room is the most money I'd ever seen in my entire life. And there's nobody to help you. Like some people have their parents who they call. Like I can't call my parents. They don't have any money, right? It's really hard to navigate jumping class alone, and also having enough. So I think that like by the time a lot of queer people, people of color, any marginalized group gets to a place, they're already ready. We never show up unprepared. I think the culture of a room can be exhausting when it's predominantly white. If you aren't, I did improv for 10 years, so I'm well versed in white boyness. But if you aren't, it can be very jarring, and that's something that hopefully you have a mentor you can talk to and how to adjust to however that room is specifically. But the hardest thing for me when I got into space was money. I didn't know what to do. I just also didn't understand taxes for that. It's different. Like you get really excited. Like my first writing job was in New York, and I was gonna be. This is also 2017, so the rates have gone up a bit now. But I was supposed to make $3,200 a week, which is outrageous money. That's fucking life changing money, right?
Yeah.
But then I got to New York, and it jumps you a tax bracket, and I wasn't being taxed 10% anymore. I was being taxed 40%, and then I had to pay my reps. I had to pay my reps 25%. And then I'm in New York. So all of a sudden I'm making like 1,800 bucks. And I thought I was making 32. And $1,800 is a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in New York it's hard. It's like expecting $5,000 and getting 500.
That's a big change.
It's a big change.
Yeah.
And then you see the money, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna get it. But they tax the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
And nobody told me that. I didn't understand that. When you jump the bracket, and also I will say this: once you get that money, it's fleeting because the jobs are only like 10, 12, 16 weeks, but they tax you like you get that money for every week. So if you got $3,200 50 weeks a year, you'd be straight, but you only get it for like 10 weeks. So you're like, I'm making $1,800, and then it's 10 weeks long, and technically you made $25,000 for the whole year. You're still in poverty.
Yep. Listen, one of the things that we liked, to offer as part of this program is like that, like when it comes to contracts, even as an organization, like, financial literacy for artists, it's super important because you're kind of thrown, and I'm in, especially in this industry, right? Like, who did you talk to? Like, did you say you talked to your mentors about this
I
problem?
I I'm not even gonna lie. I know one really, really rich guy. I literally know one really, really rich guy from comedy because there always is one.
Yeah.
And he was like a rich guy outside of comedy. Like he did like stocks in the 90s and was rich. And I called him and I said, "What do you do? What do you do?" And he got me an accountant. He was like, "Call this person and tell them what you're doing, and they'll tell you what to do with it." Because I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
What is it? Chase is like, doesn't give any interest. The only banks I ever knew were Chase and Bank of America. What is Charles Schwab? What the fuck is that? Who is that?
Listen, so, and sometimes I don't know, like, I feel like this, it's assumed that you know all these things, but you don't, and like, I swear to you, the same question that you may have and you're embarrassed to ask, somebody else has it, so might as well just raise your hand and be like, hey, I don't get that part,
Yeah.
can you
I
please?
don't understand. I've
Yeah.
always been like that. I've always been like, I'll raise my hand because you need an S corp.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna go into it, but you need an S corp, and you need a lawyer to do the S corp, and you got to talk to the federal government. I can talk to the federal government. I'm just a
I'm just
little
trying to write jokes.
girl. Well, I can't talk to the federal government. I'm a lawyer. I don't. I have my aunt is a lawyer. She's a public defender. She can't help me with my S corp. God bless. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like you are you're like, "Oh my God, I got my first job. This is success." Okay, well, you get a 10-week job, you make $3,200 a week. After they tax it, you got 1,800 bucks. All right, you got 25 grand. Great. What do you do for the rest of the year? You got a plan. You need help. You need to know if you should get another job, like a regular job. Like, there's so much stuff that I didn't understand. I was also in New York. I didn't really have the support that I had in Chicago. But I
Yeah.
think that the biggest thing for me when I went to a writer's room was money. But also, the upper level people have so much money. They're making like 50, 60, 70 grand a week. And
Jesus.
you're like, I'm making 3,200. So it's a really weird thing to be in a space with people who act like they're not rich. It's like you got a hole in your shirt, but I saw your IMDb. You worked on Modern Family. You're a millionaire. It's
It's
like
a weird, it's a
it's
weird, yeah,
weird.
yeah. We need to talk about. I think again, right? The mystifying, talking about money and all those things, and again, right? Like taking it back to like you're probably the first one in your family, whatever field you're in, right? When you're
Yeah,
the first of anything, it could be a lonely road,
yeah.
to get there. But changing gears a little bit, we can keep talking about money, but I want to kind of talk about last spring we had a Disruptors gathering
Hmm.
where you shared some really wise words during your panel. Thank you so much for being part of that panel.
Thanks for
Something that,
having me on that panel. It was really
huh?
great. I said thanks for having me on that
No,
panel. It was really
thank
great.
thank you for saying yes. Something that stuck with me was this idea that you don't fuck with people who are hopeless,
Hmm.
especially when things feel so bleak. Can you speak to that a little bit more? And for the folks
Absolutely.
that were not present there.
For sure. I think that I fully understand nihilism. I
Mhm.
get that for sure. But I'm Southern. I'm not from Florida. I am a Southern person. My family is from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, Miccosukee, Florida. My grandma used to live across the street from a cow pasture. We used to live in between a cow pasture and a graveyard. Okay, like I'm from the boondocks, the boonies, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not, how can I be hopeless when my grandmother, my aunts and uncles integrated schools. When my grandma was born in like the 30s, was walking to school, white people used to throw rocks at her. Like, obviously things are really bad right now, but like, I'm just talking about me, where I come from. I truly am my ancestors' greatest dreams. I've been on television. I'm an Emmy-nominated writer. I get to, my family was like sharecroppers. I use my brain to make money instead of my physical body, right? And that is amazing. How can I be hopeless when I'm capable and it's possible for me to be something that even my grandparents could never fathom. So when I think about how far we've come in the country, like it's like black people got their freedom like 60 years ago or something, and then like we got a president. Everybody we got a lot of backlash after that, but it was like nobody's done it faster. From slavery to president, like get out of my face if you don't believe what we're capable of. You know what I mean? So I think historically in America, I can only speak from a black perspective, but like I just don't have time to be hopeless because we I can be upset, but I always think there's the space for things to get better. And I think understanding, and I think I said this before, understanding that it might not be better for you.
Yeah.
It might just be better for the people who come after you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really hard because I want it now, daddy. Give it to me now. But the work that we're doing is going to help people after us. And I hope that it will benefit us in a lot of ways. But I mean, we used to have commercials with Hillary Duff telling people not to say gay as a slur. And now all Gen Z got purple hair and everybody gay.
They gay.
We didn't get to be gay.
Yeah.
You get to be gay. You see? That's the best example I could give of how progress works.
Yeah. and I think, I mean, a lot of it, right? I again, you know, we're millennials, right? And I think there's a new generation that, you know, they were born with this, right? Immediate, you know, satisfaction to like whatever you put, right? But it, you know, we've seen the way that history, it you know, it's like, it's gonna happen, but there needs I hate to say this, and I hate to be like, you gotta be patient because it sucks, but that is the reality. In the meantime, I do think that we are very blessed, you know, to be able to, and you know, as you mentioned, you know, we get to do this, right? And as creatives, we get to put the shit, you know, through like therapy, you know, writing or whatever creative outlet. It's our therapy, and it's our way to kind of release all this BS that is happening,
and we get to do it, and we get to do it. Right?
Exactly.
Like there was really a point in time where recently we couldn't do it, you know? So I'm in a place where I can. So like black people, they used to tell us we weren't allowed to read. It was like illegal for black people to be able to read. So journal, even if you can just do it for yourself, if you can read, you are your ancestors' greatest dreams here in America, which is crazy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Shantira. And, you know, we're coming to an end to our conversation, but I do want to ask you, as, you know, kind of to close it, what do you think is the biggest misconception that new writers have about the state of the industry right now? Might be rooted in reality.
Rooted in reality. I think the biggest misconception, I'm trying to think. I think that the biggest misconception I think that some writers have, and this isn't like the happiest one, but it's like that if you like become an assistant, you'll be able to be a writer. And I just don't think that it used to be like you really do those muck jobs, like in the muck of it, like you're a PA forever, you're a writer's assistant forever, you're a script coordinator forever, and then you like got promoted. But I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think that's true anymore. I do think you're better off writing, making sure you have something. I think you should write a feature. That way you don't if the feature is good, they'll buy it. If the show is good, they'll give it away to somebody who's not you. So I think the biggest misconception is that the way that we used to do it is still functional. Being an assistant does not get you a job anymore. And I think that just keep writing and submitting to like festivals and do your own thing. But I just want to make sure you understand that if you become a PA, they might just like make you be a PA for the rest of your life. There is very little upward mobility these days. And I think if you understand that, you won't waste your time hoping that year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, they'll give you what you deserve. and you'll make the decision to like maybe do something else. Not right, but like move on from that place that you're hoping will promote you.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks. Do the writing, do the thing, and
Yeah.
it is, we shows art for some reason,
Yeah.
but I think, that's really, really great advice. Shantira, we have come to the end of our conversation. Is there anything that you would like to tell us what you're working on, if you can, or anything where people can
Um,
contact you?
I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Tira_Tira_Tira. Also, I'm gonna be on NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me soon. Like, go check out my episodes. They're really fun. I'm fun on them. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not in the room right now. We'll see. Hopefully that changes. But I am doing a lot of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. So go listen to the episodes.
Go check out Shantira. You are hilarious and always Shantira with just so much knowledge. So thank you so much for sharing all the things. Please, for everyone watching, share this video. Subscribe to our Center for Cultural Power YouTube page at The Culture Strike to see this and other videos from our organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.